So the point I'm trying to make that as far as Lohia is concerned, in this class, and if we cannot conclude our discussions in this class, then in the next class we will try to look at his ideas. So Lohia, of course, did make some contribution in terms of looking at the issue of democracy and socialism. Further on, he also did come up with his idea of the suitable political structure in India's case, which, if implemented, then the ideals of equality and freedom could be understood. So his emphasis would be more on the achievement of equality and freedom. So primarily these would be the socialist ideas in his understanding, which one could achieve by placing in what he termed as Chokamba model, right? Chokamba model. So, 4 pillars of democracy that I will, look at. But, before that, it's good to have some understanding of the influences on Lohia and where are the sources for understanding his ideas and thoughts on issues like socialism, democracy, and state. He was again, well educated, and he had earned his PhD, from Germany, and he had written his thesis on salt and satyagraha. And in the 1930s, he comes back, he becomes associated with Congress, then he somehow does not agree with the approaches and programs of Congress. Then he is more inclined towards developing his own model of socialism. So that is where there are a few issues that we will concentrate in order to understand Lohia's thought. There are at least 2 books that possibly one can refer to understand his ideas. One book that he wrote, that is Marx, Gandhi, and Socialism. So that is a book by Ram Manohar Lohia. That is one. And second book one can look at that is Will to Power and Other Writings. So that is the second book one can look at in terms of understanding Lohia's thoughts. And now a lot of writings and interpretations exist as far as explanation of Lohia's model of socialism is concerned. So that is where we would endeavor to understand some of the features of Lohia's understanding of socialism. So that is the first thing we'll do. That how Ram Manohar Lohia would look at the whole concept of socialism. Second, we will see that this is again connected, right? This is again connected. That how Lohia provides a critique of Western political philosophy. And when I'm saying Western political philosophy, I mean primarily the 2 different streams of political thought which he understood to be dominant in political philosophy. So that would be the Marxian variety of socialism. That would be one. And second, the liberal political philosophy of the West. Right. So, and that is where, again, the point I made earlier, that somehow it is connected to his own understanding of socialism. Again, these 2 would be connected. Then we'll look at the fact that, how he would emphasize on his own model of, equality and freedom. So that is where his concept of decentralization of political and economic power, which should be reflected in his in his ideal of Chakamba model and the Sapt Kranti, 7 revolutions that he proposed. So we would look at. So these are a few things we would look at as far as Lohia's political thoughts are concerned. But let me add that when Lohia talks about revolution, then again he is not referring to any kind of violent act to throw away the existing social and political domination of a specific class or a specific group. But he has in mind some kind of process which would be continuing in terms of bringing about equality and freedom in the society in a non-violent manner, right? So that's what gives me the opportunity to mention some of the influences on Lohia. So I mean, as one can make out that apart from Marxism and socialism, liberal philosophy exercised a great deal of influence on Lohia, which helped him to develop his own political ideas. Apart from that, influence of Gandhi would be, I would say, crucial in terms of giving shape to his ideas, because that is where he would come to in terms of somehow settling down. What I would say, in terms of settling down to some concrete political concepts, right? So the point we have to keep in mind that, of course, Lohia did not come up with any different concept than those existing during his time. But at the same time, Lohia did provide an explanation to those concepts, and he did add something which possibly could be considered as valuable, especially in the context of India's socio-economic and political setup. So that's what one can add as far as Lohia is concerned. If one looks at that, where does Lohia in fact look at the problem as far as politics is concerned, right? As far as political ideas are concerned, right? So certainly, equality is the core issue for Lohia, right? There has to have equality in the society. And in his understanding, the Western variety of socialism would not be applicable to a society like India, which had its own specific context. Now, that is where we will find that Lohia not only provides a critique to Marxian socialist ideas, but he also understands that how freedom would be important in the whole process. So equality, right? There has to have equality in the society. And, the two concepts I'm referring to time and again, that is, equality and freedom. And this is what would become the core of socialist thought in Lohia. So Lohia, understands that socialism had developed in Europe with respect to the given socio-political and economic environment. And if we try to, superimpose those ideas in a country like India, then it would not bear any fruit and it would not be successful. So that is where he makes a comparison of development of socialism in Europe and in the societies outside Europe. So that is where he concludes that if one looks at development of socialism in Europe, it was primarily a gradual process.